guys, as some of you have requested, today I'll be showing you how to install a custom ROM on your goody old Nexus 6P here, and I'll be showing you what you need to do if this is your first time trying out things like this, because you know, everyone needs to start somewhere. So what we need first is to make sure that your 6P has to have an unlocked bootloader, and also has to have a custom recovery on it, such as TWRP, which I'm sure you would have if you're looking to install custom ROM anyway. But if not, you can check out a link in the more info down below, and I'll be showing you the process of rooting the Nexus 6P, which involves unlocking the bootloader and flashing TWRP. So you'll be set to flash custom ROMs after that, even if you don't choose to root your phone. So with that being said, head over to the first link. Well, the second one, because the first one will be on how to root your phone, if you haven't already. So the second one will take you over to the XDA Developers Forum, specifically the Nexus 6P subforum, which is where you want to head over to find ROMs for your phone. So right here, it'll probably look like this when you go in there. And the point of this is to allow you to browse for all the different ROMs and kernels, custom kernels out there, apps and themes down here. But primarily, you want to look at the Android development and the original Android development right there. So between those two, I'm just going to open them up in new tabs, just so we can browse through them quicker. Because there are heaps of things here that you could possibly get. Android development ones, like here, are based off the stock ROM, while original Android development is based off its own base or source, or things like Android Open Source Project, AOKP, CyanogenMod, things like that are in the original Android development. But if you want things to be built off the stock ROM here, so from Google's factory images, then you'll want to look inside the Android development options. So I reckon if you wanted to use Android Pay, which there is a workaround here for systemless root even, which has been recently discovered, so you can still use Android Pay when you're rooted, which is great. You can see me swiping a lot of messages away. Don't know how to get rid of that really. But anyway, you can take a look at these ROMs here that are based off the stock ROM. I think last time I had the screwed Android ROM, the one up here. So we can take a look at that. So I'm going to open these in a new tab. And so browse through all this, a couple, and there will be instructions within the actual forum. And so take a look at all these ROMs. Usually the more towards the top are more active between people, and you'll see Resurrection Remix, Chroma, Pure Nexus, Sinless even. I might try that. 4-star rating shouldn't hurt anyone. Or new window, doesn't matter. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, looks like I can't do that anymore. Okay, and of course there we have the screwed, and you can also take a look through the original Android development here, which is also nice. So here we have the CyanogenMod, we have Xylo ROM, we have things that are based off of Open Source Project and CyanogenMod, which is cool. And we also have a few custom kernels here, which is nice. So you know what, I will probably, and look, there's my toolkit down here. Okay, so I will probably looking at using the screwed ROM, just because I've used it before and it was pretty good. I like ROMs that you can change a lot about the appearance sort of thing, customizations, which I really enjoy doing. All you need to do once you've found your ROM is to scroll down a little bit till you see the download section, which is usually here, and then you just want to read all this. So you've got download links up here, which I clicked on. You got your mirrors, and in case you need any Google apps. So in this case, it says down here that you will need to flash Google apps after you flashed your the base of the ROM, you could say. And then once you've done that, then you'll have a fully functional system. So I'm going to be using the screwed ROM here, and I'll be trying that out. So right now, we're going to start the process. So just download everything. Here you can download the actual ROM, but if you need Google Apps of any choice, I would recommend going to opengaps.org. Okay, so I just gotta quickly change browsers. So head over to opengaps. I'm pretty sure it's .org, and pretty much this is one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time, where you get to choose your platform, your version of Android that you need it for, and of course your variant, which is probably the coolest thing here. So, for example, your ROM requires Google Apps, which is what GAPS pretty much stands for. So, for example, the Nexus 6P that we have here is running a 64-bit processor. So you want to go ahead and select ARM64, and then you want to select our Android version, which is 6.0, and then the last one for variant. This is the level of stock apps that you would like. For me, sometimes I like to download my own apps off the Play Store, so all I need is the Play Store functionality. So with that you can use, I think it was a micro. Oh, now I'm going to select all that again. So for me, I think I'm going to select, I think it's the micro. No, nano. Yes. So if you hover over it, you'll be able to see what you get with each package, which is quite nice, which is good. So I'll be choosing the Nano package, so I just get the Play Store. You'll note that it will say there is extra functionality that is not available from the Play Store that won't be included. Oh, sorry, that are included here. So maybe not too sure. It's all kind of vague in some sort. So if you select Nano, you'll at least get the Play Store, and you can see it's only 105 megabytes. You just hit this pink download button, and you should start downloading right away, as it has down there. So it'll take around 11-10 minutes for that. So once you have everything downloaded, all you need to do is copy it anywhere to your phone. I'll show you where I put all my stuff after this is done, and then we'll get started from there. Okay, so once everything is finished downloading, so you'll most likely probably have two files, which is your ROM itself, and then you have your Google Apps. So you want to grab your trusty USB cables and whatnot, and plug in your device into your computer. It's going to wrap around here. So once you've got that plugged in, you can open up your device. And if you don't see anything, open up your phone, or unlock your phone, and tap on USB for charging, and then select for file transfers. And that'll reconnect your phone. Not my emails. Oh, did I even? Okay, so USB for charging, and then tap on file transfers. And then it will mount the internal storage, which is quite handy. So open that up, and you'll see I like to put everything in my ROMs folder. I used to have it lying on the SD card. So as you can see here, I have my... Well, that was great. Anyway, I was using the Benzo ROM and the Candy 6 ROM, so I guess I won't be using Screwed. I'm going to backtrack on my statement now. So as you can see, I'm going to have your ROM base and then your Google Apps. So it might not be the one I downloaded, which was the OpenGAPS Nano from, well, similar to that one. And there is a dedicated Google Apps specifically made or adjusted or even optimized for the certain ROM you're having. So it's always important to keep that in mind if you want maybe even special or added features, not too sure. But I'll be using this Benzo 601 ROM with the OpenGAPS Nano, so I get just the minimal amount to get the Play Store working. So once all those, or two files are in there, so this one, that one highlighted, and this one should be what you need at most, and that is on your phone. So I'm going to go through the full process of flashing a ROM once you have those ROM files connected to your phone. Is that you always want to make a backup. For me, I got to go back to stock to make future videos and all that. But if you're running on a different kind of device, like for example an HTC device or even a Samsung one, where you may not actually have a firmware to restore back to, where it's actually the one that comes on your phone. But with the Nexus devices here, usually it's alright. You just download them from the Google developers image site, so you don't really need to worry about that. But I'll do it anyway, just in case you have some apps here that you need to get back. So I think from memory, you would have to disable any kind of a screen lock or any lock on your phone, including the fingerprint here. So you're gonna have to go to settings, security, and then screen lock. I'm gonna change that, and then hit swipe, and then yes. I'm gonna remove the protection, and of course that gets rid of our fingerprints as well, which is what we need, because we do not want screen lock on it. Last time I read, might be different with TWRP 3.0, which I don't have. I have 2.783, the latest one before the 3.0 jump. And what you want to do is reboot into the recovery. I know people, some people don't have this extra reboot menu, so go ahead and power off your device. And once it is powered off, again, you just want to hold the power button and volume down to get into the bootloader. Until it shows up, you can let go as soon as you see this. And then use the volume buttons to navigate to reboot recovery, or recovery mode. So just press volume down twice until you see this recovery mode here, and press the power button to select it. And you'll see this normal message, well, not normal, message normally. And we'll get us into TWRP in a matter of a few seconds. So once you're in, you'll be greeted with this. You should be quite familiar with it at least. And we're going to make a full backup now of our stock ROM. So go ahead and tap on backup. And then, oh, well, here's something new. You can even back up your system image and vendor image, which you probably won't need to do. You can change the name of it. I'm going to name it, just add stock on the end. Very handy with its keyboard. And then I'm going to hit tick, and you can see the name has changed. You're going to make sure, I think you just leave the default partitions here checked. I might just back up the EFS partition just in case. That stores your vital IMEI information, so you can still make phone calls. So just hit swipe to back up. Shouldn't take that long actually. Backing up seems to be getting a lot faster than what I remember a couple years ago. Probably improvements in technology. So you can see it's already done 6% of the system at least. Okay, so it's done generating its MD5s and all that. And you can see the backup is finished, and it finished in about 170 seconds. So just hit, I think that was back, and then hit back again. We want to go over to wipe, and we're going to wipe, or do a factory reset, which won't touch your data. So photos and all that should still be there, will still be there. And then once you're done, just hit back, and then tap install. And if you recall, I put everything in a ROMs folder on the SD card, but you'll probably need to navigate to wherever you have actually put that folder. So it doesn't really matter at this point. Well, that's silly. Doesn't matter where you put it, as long as you know where you put it. So in this case, I'll be flashing the Benzo 601 ROM here. So flash your ROM first, and you'll see it flashing its system and anything else that is in there, probably a boot image maybe, and things like that. But usually just the system partition is affected the most. So we're going to let that install, which shouldn't take too long, 1 or 2 minutes usually. Will allow it to copy everything to the system partition. And then after that we'll be flashing the Google Apps. I think it was micro Google Apps. And we're done. So you can wipe the cache in Dalvik, but we won't do that. Just hit the back button down there, and then we're going to flash our Google Apps, which is our Nano, and just swipe to flash that. Same process. It's going to install our Google Apps here. So this is very minimal. So it just includes the Google Play Store and some functionality that is not available off the Play Store onto our phone. Alright, so it's going to unmount fixed permissions, and here you can wipe the cache if you'd like to. Now, very quick, and then cross your fingers and then tap on reboot system. So you'll be seeing that our phone is now booting up in the Benzo ROM here, and first boot may take a while because it's got to optimize all the files and things like that. Sorry, all the apps, which shouldn't be too many of them, maybe around 70 to 80 if you use that micro Google apps. Otherwise, you'll see the normal kind of Android is starting up process here. So I'd like to go over a few things between the two ROMs here. So stock ROMs can use things like layers, RRO layers, to theme the device. So the Benzo ROM here can use layers to theme it, while CyanogenMod based ROMs are able to use the theme engine, which are kind of slight variations within each other, I believe. I guess the Cyanogen one feels more well done in terms of being able to use icon packs, I guess, throughout the whole system. But if that doesn't really make or break anything for you, you might be able to try out a few different ROMs. So this is our normal stuff. Android is starting, and you're going to see that for a little while, good 5 minutes or 10 maybe. So yeah, those are little differences there, and of course other things that you'll probably be able to check out when you flash your ROM. So keep in mind this could look a little bit different, although it should be mostly the same for your ROM. And just reminded me I got to take out the SIM card because I have no more mobile data. When your phone boots up and you get this error message or a notification saying that your vendor image may be out of date, you can easily fix this by either updating the ROM that you've just flashed, because sometimes when you use an old version of the ROM, like I have in this case, I needed to flash the latest Benzo ROM for it to use my latest vendor image, which is correct. But in the case that the ROM that you flashed is using an older base, especially those stock-based ROMs, you'll need to flash the appropriate vendor image according to the ROM's base version. So if yours is the MMB, I think, number like 28 and then ends in M, and you have the, for example, O vendor image, then you'll need to flash the M version image rather than maybe even perhaps the latest one, for example Q. So it's better to flash the vendor image that is based off your ROM, your ROM's version, if that makes any sense. But I will have a bit of a more in-depth description in the more info down below if you run into problems. Benzo ROM. As you can see, things have changed a little bit. You're going to see that I'll have the Play Store down there, and of course if we slide down all the settings, and the OTA seems to be working already, which is fantastic. So I'll be doing that and probably flashing the latest vendor image as well. So right now if we go into the settings, oops, you can now see we have some specific settings entries to the Benzo ROM. So we have extras, which is pretty much what I love about this, which has all the little customizations that you can do with it. If we hit back again, oh, like they go real deep. Well, not that one, not that one, but animations and stuff, you can change so much, and I just really love doing all that. Things about privacy, like app ops, probably more power, so redesigned I guess a little bit. We have a blocked caller list. We have things that we can do with our kernel, which uses kernel auditor. As you can see, we're also rooted. Talking a bit fast here, aren't I? And of course this one uses layers, which will also need root access. So this is what I've been talking about when the phone was booting up, and pretty much you can install these things called overlays, which will in fact theme your device, which I won't do right now. And if we go to About Phone, you can see that is our 1st of January security patch, and of course the Benzo versions of things like that. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this quick, it's probably a long video by now, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave it down below in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them, and of course subscribe so you can stay tuned and watch more videos like this. I also have a review on the Pebble Time coming out pretty soon. It's going to look pretty good, and of course the Nexus 6P a few weeks later, because I have exams coming up soon. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one.